I will pass the presentation to you because you are so much better at that than me. Change to presenter, and I just started the recording.
Okay, great. Okay, so Alice and Alice, thank you for coming to our social media training. This training is the presentation is supposed to be about a half hour, and then there's time to ask questions, but we're pretty casual. You can ask questions as we go along, and if there's one person, it usually is a little bit less time.
Yeah, I would hope so.
To start, we're just going to talk a little bit about ourselves so that we can get to know you. I know that you have Facebook, but that's it so far. Do you want to tell us, where you are located, where you're marching if you're marching, and what, if you're on any Mothers Out Front teams, what you're on?
No, I live in Amherst, Massachusetts, which is in the western part of the state, and I'm going to go to Boston with 3 other people. Great. And we will actually be hitching up with the League of Women Voters of Massachusetts because we're all members of the league. And I have Facebook, but I've used it for quite a while, but I don't have Twitter. I love to take pictures. Yeah, I didn't hear what you said.
Are you on a Mothers Out Front team?
No, I'm not. I'm in contact with them, and I've been to a meeting of them, but I have too many other things going, so I just get their emails, but I'm not a member, so to speak. Got it.
Well, this is totally useful either way, although there is a little bit of a focus on the Mothers Out Front hashtag kind of thing, but that's okay because you can adapt it. Absolutely, please use it if you want to. So I'm Beth. I live in Sharon, Massachusetts. I am
My husband grew up in Sharon, and I just met somebody recently who also lives in Sharon.
Really?
So
I didn't grow up in Sharon, and it's the anomaly. Like when you go to meetings, people say "Oh, hi, I'm Beth. I've lived in Sharon for 45 years," and or even better, my parents lived in Sharon and my grandparents lived in Sharon. I'm like, I've been here 5 years. It's like that doesn't count at all.
Right. Yeah.
So. I am on the communications team and the Mothers Out Front Pipeline Task Force. I also am a founding member of the No Sharing Gas Pipeline group here locally, which is not a Mothers Out Front group, but is all kind of connected right now. I guess I should say I have Facebook and Twitter, and I have, 9 years as a communications professional, and I tend to specialize in social media for nonprofits when I'm doing my freelance work. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So there's that. So let's hear from Mish. Although I don't know, maybe you know Mish, maybe you don't.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Alice. I am Mish. My real name is Michelle, but all mothers call me Mish. And I am on staff with Mothers Out Front. I have been since the beginning, and I am currently the online organizer. I live in Cambridge, Mass. I'm on many, many teams.
And to all people.
Yes. And I do social media for Mothers Out Front, so I'm pretty familiar with both of them.
Do you, Alice, do you have anything like Instagram or Snapchat?
No, I don't.
No, okay. I don't either, but, I'm always waiting for somebody to show up and have them, and then I can learn more about them.
Yeah, I have to push out our Instagram account more. It's the third platform. I just haven't had time for it yet. I'll get there.
It's hard because I don't know that there are that many of the constituency on there.
There's a few mothers. Mothers like it.
Really? Oh, because of the kids.
Yeah.
All right. We'll ask for questions as we go, as I said before. I don't think you're going to have a problem speaking one at a time.
I don't think so.
All right, so we are going to talk about participating at the march, and we can focus on that since you're definitely going to be there and you're the one on the training right now. We'll be in Boston too, so even if you're not marching with Mothers Out Front, please stop by and say hi. We'll talk about taking pictures, using the hashtags. Are you familiar with hashtags and tags on Facebook, Alice?
No, I'm not.
Okay, that's good. We'll go over that.
I'm familiar with putting pictures on Facebook, but don't know anything about hashtags.
Great. Well, we can focus on that a bit. And searching the hashtags, and I think sharing is probably something you know how to do too.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll go over that. Perfect. This is going to be super helpful for you. Okay. So one of the things we're focusing on is kind of how to get ready for the march, because have you done a big march before or protest?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay. So as you know, it's crazy the day of, right? Like it gets overwhelming and exciting and intense, and so it's better to get ready.
Like if you say maybe we'll meet up, maybe I'll see you there, I think I probably won't, because there'll probably be too many people.
Right, exactly.
But
you'll see the Mothers Out Front banner though, I think.
Good.
So a hashtag is simply a word or a phrase that has a pound symbol in front of it. It can't have spaces or punctuation, or it breaks the hashtag. And having that pound symbol gives it like a hyperlink effect, so that the social media platforms collect all of them in one place. And that's why I say that the spaces or the punctuation breaks the link. It changes what it is. And the more they are, the more there are of an individual hashtag, the more it trends, which means it has a greater reach, which is still kind of a jargony term. So in other words, more people see it.
What do you mean by more? I don't know what there's more of.
More
more
people
words?
using an individual hashtag means that the hashtag will pop up to more people. And sometimes that's sort of organic, like your friends might use it, and sometimes it's intentional, like if you look at the sidebar, it might have a trending topics column, and then it'll show up.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so the more people that tweet that hashtag, that include that hashtag in a tweet, the more likely it will show up as trending. And for example, recently we did a gas lease campaign in Boston, and Mothers Out, all of a sudden I was on Twitter and I got a tweet from an organization that tracks this kind of thing, and they said, hey, Mothers Out Front is trending in Boston. Yeah, which gets us more attention. So.
Yeah.
If you look at Facebook, Alice, and you look at the right-hand column, you'll see, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see a category that says trending.
Well, what I'm looking at here, the page that says be prepared with hashtags, and on the right side says United States trends. Is that what you're talking about?
If you navigate away from the WebEx and you open up your browser and you went to Facebook right now, which would mean you wouldn't see me talking, but you would just for a moment, you'd see your Facebook page. Or you can do this later. On the right-hand side, pardon?
I'm doing it now. On the right-hand side.
And you scroll down a little, you're going to see a category that says trending. Do you see that?
Oh, yes.
Those, if you click on them, this is a little bit like how hashtags work. These are actual, I believe these are actual words they've linked to, but sometimes they are hashtags. This is where they'd show up too. So that's how.
Yeah, the ones I'm looking at are just articles. I mean, they're words. There's no hashtag there.
And that's more likely on Facebook than it is on Twitter. Let's see if there's a terminology. But it does sometimes happen that hashtags get up in that area. So probably Women's March will be up there on Saturday. We have a newcomer.
Judy.
Okay, I might take her a little bit to sign on.
So on Twitter, it's more direct. It's more directly like the hashtag. As you can see, if you go back to the WebEx, you can see that's just a screenshot from my Twitter the day that I put that in there. Those were the things that were trending that day. Apparently it was Thursday when I did this, because Thursday thought was trending. And then there's a sample there of me using the
hashtags.
Well, thank you. The hashtag and email came in. It totally distracted me. I'm like a goldfish. I will march because, and you can use hashtags, you know, on their own. This was a hashtag that people were using more in advance of the march at the time. Does that make sense? Hashtag?
Yes.
Okay. And you can use them on Facebook, even if you decide not to join Twitter for the sake of the march. You can use them on Facebook. It'll have the same linky effect.
And we're going to be talking more about how you can search with hashtags. Basically, think of it as a category so that you can pull everything together under that category. And everybody knows that that's being used, so if someone wants to find out what's going on with the Women's March, you can search hashtag Women's March and pull up all the most recent tweets that have been going on.
Judy, can you, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I guess I was wondering whether you, if I don't do it on Facebook, which was one option, but do you have a separate screen, or, I mean, does it come up?
You just type it in right into your post. So like if you're posting, like say you're posting a picture of you at the march, right? Because you like to post pictures.
Yes.
After you upload your picture and you go into the preview or before, and you're typing like, you know, me at the Women's March, you could, instead of making Women's March the words Women's and March, you could put the pound symbol in front and make it all one word, as in this first example, Women's March, and you just type it. Like there's nothing special about it until it joins the internet. Does that make sense? It's just keys on your keyboard until it goes live and is linked with everything else.
Yeah.
Hi, I want to take a moment and welcome Judy, who has joined the call. Judy, welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Good. Okay, sorry I'm late. I apologize.
No problem. This meeting is being recorded, and shortly after it's over, you will receive an updated email that gives you a link to the recording so you can capture the beginning part. But we haven't gone too far into it yet, so good timing. Judy, could you take a moment and introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from. If you're on a Mothers Out Front team, let us know about that. And what experience do you have with Twitter and Facebook?
Sure. Can you see me? I've lost the video somehow.
Okay. Do you see the image of a camera to the right of your name? A little green.
Right now I can't see anything.
Okay. Oh, I'm
sorry.
No problem. On the bottom of your screen, you may see a white and green ball.
I have to check my computer and make sure it didn't come unplugged. I'm sorry, just a second.
Sure, no problem.
Why don't you continue? I don't want to hold everybody up. Continue, and I'll introduce myself as soon as I get myself together here.
No problem.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
Beth, go ahead. Uh-oh. We may have lost Beth. That's going to be one of those nights. Alice, while we have you and we're talking about hashtags, does what we're describing make sense? I think Beth was basically saying that you can use a hashtag on its own or as part of a sentence. So there's a hashtag. Oh, Beth's coming back.
Yeah, I'm back. Mish, I passed the slide to you in case that happens again.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
No problem. And we have somebody else joining the call this evening.
Hi, it's Hillary. Sorry to be late.
Hey. Hillary Graham, how are you, my lady?
I'm well. Is that Miss?
Yes, it is. Sorry, I should have said that.
Hi, Miss. I'm happy to be here.
15 minutes in. Welcome to the call. What we're doing right now is we're just covering the beginning part of hashtags. Judy is making sure she's connected, and then she's going to introduce herself, and then we can break to have you introduce yourself as well, Hillary. And if you would just listen along while we finish a conversation with Alice about hashtags.
Perfect.
Go, Beth.
Okay. I'm a little bit lost track of where we were. Alice, do you have more questions about them?
Well, I still don't quite have the idea of like what I do with I mean, I understand the hashtag, and I could put hashtag Women's March and then put it, you know, as an identifier on a picture, but but I don't know, you know, like where I put it or how I mean,
okay. No problem.
like I could do it on Facebook, but I don't know, you know, where else to put my picture to have it go on Twitter.
No problem. Beth is actually going to review some of the Twitter components and how to interact with Twitter in a little bit, so that will definitely become clear.
Okay.
But it's just like a post, and it's just putting the text into the area where you do a post. And then it allows people to find it who are searching for it.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Okay.
You go back and
no problem.
It's entirely up to you if you decide you want to join Twitter for the purpose of the march. And if you feel like that's too much, given the fact that it's 2 days away or whatever it is now, and you know you're going to be on Facebook anyway, then I would say, you know, don't worry too much about that part of it. Just think about using it for Facebook. I've got samples of Twitter on the screen right now, but we're going to talk about doing things on Facebook too. And to some extent, it's the same. So you could take this text that I put on Twitter here and put it on your Facebook post, attach a picture, and it would still come out with the links for the hashtag.
Okay. Oh, the other thought I had was I take pictures with my cell phone, my smartphone, and I post them on Facebook. But if I had, but probably one of the choices is to post, to send them as a Twitter. So that
yes, what you want to do is have the app loaded on the phone.
Then I'd have the picture, and I would put in, you know, put the hashtag with it.
Yes, exactly.
I can't look at that right now because I'm, you know, I'm on the phone, but I'll look at it after I hang up later.
Yeah, no problem. What you want to do is load the Twitter app to your phone, and then it reacts just like the Facebook app, so that if you post and you choose Twitter, it's doing kind of the same thing, and you're just posting directly to Twitter.
Yeah, well, I think I have that capability already, so I'll just look at it. Yeah, okay, good.
Fantastic. All right. All right, well, are we ready for the next slide? Should I advance here?
I see Judy's little video icon. Judy, are you signed on?
I'm now connected. Can you actually see me? I can see you.
Yeah, yay.
Hello.
Hello.
I see you.
Hello.
Welcome, Judy. Go ahead and give a little introduction of yourself. Again, it was your name, your town, any teams you're associated with the Mothers Out Front, and familiarity with Twitter and Facebook.
Okay. Well, I'm from Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I just joined recently. I went to one open house, one meeting, and met some people, and then had a one-on-one with someone, which was great. Excellent. And I'm just getting into the organization, though. I haven't had a chance to join any groups. I'm looking forward to doing that.
No problem.
So I think right after the march, I'll be able to focus on that, and I'm going to do it. What else? My familiarity with Facebook is very little, and Twitter is 0. So I really know nothing about it. I've kind of stayed away from it. And I apologize for being late because I think this would be a good chance for me to learn, although I'll be able to read the information afterwards, I think, and that'll help a lot too.
Yes, and you'll receive a link to the recording. And, you know, I'm happy to take some time and go over any questions with you over the next couple of days too. So we were just covering hashtags. Are you familiar with hashtags?
I know the word. I know their messages that people send over Twitter, and that's about all I know.
Okay. And Hillary, while we have this break, how about you do a quick introduction?
Okay. My name's Hillary Graham. I am in Arlington, and I am, let's see, I've been involved for a few years and kind of varied levels of involvement, from really involved and then kind of stepping back and now just kind of volunteering for specific projects.
Great.
When I have time for that.
Sure.
Yeah, and so I'm I'm on Facebook, but I barely ever post. I'm not very familiar with it, and I really don't use Twitter at all. So that's my...
Great. And how familiar are you with hashtags?
Just sort of ditto what the person before me said.
Okay.
I sort of know what it is, but I've never actually used it.
No problem. Beth, do you think it's worth covering that very quickly? Would it be, yeah, okay.
Sure, yeah.
You go ahead.
A hashtag, the simplest explanation is when you type it, it's just a pound symbol with a word or a series of words after it. When that goes live, when you press post or tweet or whatever you're using, that becomes a link in the big world of the internet, and especially on your social media platform. And when there are a lot of those links for that same hashtag, then that hashtag starts to show up in people's feeds. Sometimes it's organic because you see your friends using it, and sometimes it shows up in like a top trending slot on the social media platform. The example on the screen is the one from Twitter. That shows up every day. It changes every day. You can change the location. I won't get into that, never mind. It shows up every day. And the goal for the march is to use the march hashtags because you want your voice to be heard and to be present online in the same way that you're there and you're present marching, or if you can't march, it's another way to be present. The goal of adding Mothers Out Front hashtags to the national hashtags we have on the screen is to show a Mothers Out Front presence, or League of Women Voters for Alice. If you're marching with the League of Women Voters, you want to, So that's the basics and the purpose of a hashtag. You want me to talk a little bit more about it, or do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
So many
Go ahead.
questions.
One person, just jump in, and we'll pick it up.
Sorry.
Okay. Never mind. I'll be quiet.
All right. This is Hillary, and I was just wondering, are you wanting us? I just want to clarify. Are you wanting us to use hashtag Mothers March for Climate as opposed to hashtag Women's March? The other.
Actually, in addition to is ideal, and here's why. Because, well, first of all, to be supportive of both groups, right? The big march and Mothers Out Front component of the march. But from a virtual presence standpoint, it will help Mothers Out Front presence grow because that March hashtag is going to be huge. People will be searching it. It will show up. It will be trending. And the Mothers Out Front hashtag will be kind of walking alongside it. And then that helps Mothers Out Front grow their presence at the march virtually as well as physically. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, and just one follow-on question. Can you post to more than one hashtag at the same time, or do you have to repost?
Nope, same time, same post. So if you look at this sample tweet I have down here, and the same goes for Facebook, it would be the same in Facebook. I could have put, I will march with the hashtag like I did, and then because, and then hashtag Mothers March for Climate.
I see.
You can use them in sentences. You can use them stand on their own.
You could just put them at the end if you don't have anything to say with them in it. If you can't think, you could just put the hashtags because you want to share a picture, you know.
Okay. And I don't know if this helps, but it helped me when I was first trying to understand hashtags. Twitter is actually the reason they were invented. And I won't get too much into the details, but when Twitter was first starting, you know, you would post to your board, and a few people could see it, and somebody might respond to it, but their response would be on their board. And so if you're trying to follow the conversation, you're bouncing from Twitter page to Twitter page. So what they did was they invented hashtags. So if you put the hashtag on the tweets, you could search on the hashtag and pull up the entire conversation.
Got it.
So it's like a searching mechanism, a grouping, like a category that helps people who want to find out what's going on and know the hashtag for the event. They can just search the hashtag and everything comes up together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I have a question. This is Alice. At the bottom of what you have there, it says it has the @ symbol, like Women's March and then Boston Women's March, and you have the @ symbol.
Yep.
Yes, and we are going to cover that.
You don't have to do it now if it is. If you want to do it later, that's okay.
That's a different thing. It's called a tag, and it's the handle, briefly, and we will cover it more in depth. Briefly, it is the user. So, it's like you call it the handle, like your Facebook handle might be your full name. My handle on this call is Beth Face Rodeo, Those @ symbols are the Twitter handles for those organizations. You can see, look at my here. I don't know why I point to the screen when you guys can't see me. My username is Beth, and my handle is @Beth_row. So those @ symbols are like a hashtag in that they create a link, but in this case, they create a link to the account, and it notifies the person who owns that account that they are being talked to.
Okay, that's like Facebook. It's just okay.
Same exact thing. It's a kind of a tag, you're it. That's why it's called tag. Like you are tapping the person on the shoulder going, hello, I have a message for you.
Okay, good.
Okay, I think, are there any more questions on this? Nope. We can move on to the next slide.
Oh, that's me, sorry.
That's you now. Sorry, I'm just afraid of losing that. I have to try it again. The small little tips here, if you want to get ready for the march, you can tweet or post with these hashtags now, and then your autofill will bring them up the day of the march, and that will be a lot easier. Just in case you get it wrong or you can't remember or whatever it is. The Mothers Out Front hashtag, as somebody mentioned, who must be reading their emails nice and thoroughly, and thank you, is Mothers March for Climate with the number 4 instead of the word for. And again, you want to use these with the Women's March hashtag. Oh, I want to reiterate, hashtags can't have spaces or punctuation or they will break. It breaks the link. So even though it's the Women's March, like women with an apostrophe S, don't put your apostrophe in because then you will have a hashtag of just woman. Yeah, and I'm an editor, so I understand it's a pain and it's frustrating and you might not like it, but it's not effective if you try to follow the punctuation rules.
And you'll see it break, so it won't be invisible. Like the words will be blue, the letters will be blue, and then as soon as you put the apostrophe, it turns black from that point on. So then you realize the hashtag's not attached.
So remember.
Does it matter whether you have capitals?
No, it does not. Sometimes I will capitalize the beginning letters of a long hashtag, the beginning letters of the word, so it's easier to read.
Yeah.
But and I notice a lot of people are doing that just because there's so many hashtags.
Mm-hmm. It's easier to read, but it doesn't matter. Okay.
No, it doesn't matter. And the day of the march, your social media site will be suggesting, if it's a popular hashtag, if it's trending, as we covered, then it'll come up as a suggestion as you start to fill it in.
Oh,
And if you click on that suggestion, chances are it will be the capitalized version. It usually is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. Let's go. There we go. Okay. Another way to be prepared is to have your signs ready for your pictures ahead of time. Well, you can say why you're marching. You can say if you're marching because you're worried about your kid's future, you can name your kid. You can talk about the, what's the word I'm looking for? The reason you're there, sort of with that. If you put your hashtag on the sign, that's good, even though obviously it's just a sign and it doesn't link, because that way if for some reason somebody sees the picture, but they don't see your post, or if you forget the hashtag, they can then search for that hashtag. I've actually done that before when I've been trying to find information and I see a picture in a newspaper article, and they might have the hashtag on the sign, and it's happened with the URL too. I had to enlarge the picture and then I'd search it and then I get the information I need. So
I've been there.
Yeah. So if you have the room, please add the Mothers Out Front hashtag, and I'd say in this case secondarily the Women's March hashtag. Again, unless you're marching with a different group, in which case.
And keep in mind you have 140 characters, and the hashtags do take up some space. So, yeah, focus on your message. Keep it brief. You can use the number 4 for the word FOR. You can use the ampersand for and to shorten some things, and just be concise. That's what I recommend.
If you're on Twitter. If you're on Facebook, you have a lot more leeway.
And you have some sample tweets and posts in the one of the documents I included in the email I sent this morning.
Okay.
Oh,
any questions about the signs? No? Okay. All right. Simple tips. Make sure your phones are charged. That's good marching advice either way. Make sure you have your app. Somebody was just talking about putting the Twitter app on their phone. Make sure you're signed in. I don't know if you're like me, you've got your passwords written down somewhere and you can never remember them when you're out. If you're at home and you can't march, make sure you're on your computer, sign into your accounts, and get ready to be retweeting and reposting. Okay. All right, Mish.
Yep, sorry. There you go.
Looks good.
Oh, yeah, that's my slide. Okay, taking pictures on site. So, you know, don't worry about making everything perfect, but if you can think of these things while you're doing it. If you have a camera, those always have better resolution. Of course, it's hard to post from a camera, so it's probably not as relevant here, but what you want to do when you're shooting with your phone is landscape or horizontal framing is the most engaging for posting on Facebook and Twitter. If you post a vertical shot, you get black bars on either side. It's just less approachable, but you know, if it's a really good picture, don't worry about it. It'll stand the test of time. So I also recommend, excuse me, take a lot of pictures. Sometimes if you're looking at something really cool, I'll just go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, when I'm taking pictures on the phone. Just take 4 in a row, because it might be that one time when the person's eyes are open or they're doing a really cool gesture, especially if people are moving, very active. That's a sport photography approach. You just go boom, 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 take a lot of pictures. Try to focus, definitely focus. Smartphones, you need to tap the area on the image that you want focus, and you see kind of a bullseye form, and then you know you're ready to go and it turns green. Focus is really important because, especially on the people's faces, when you're looking at a blurry image, it's hard to get engaged and involved. So it's good to try to at least focus on people's eyes. That's the most important part. If you're taking group shots, I recommend saying something like, say cheese. Keeps people focused on you, keeps them smiling, and also keeps them from shutting their eyes when you're taking the picture. Also take candids. Don't just take group shots of people marching with banners. Show some of what's happening in the march. One of the things about social media that's really cool is it allows people to be part of the event that aren't there. So if they're seeing, you know, little things on the side that are happening, or, you know, a child responding to something, or a really cool musician or something going on, it kind of keeps them fully engaged. And that, as I mentioned, children, I also want to point out, please respect people's privacy when taking pictures of their children. This big an event, there's probably going to be a lot of faceless children or nameless children around, so they're relatively safe. You don't know where they live or what their names are. But it's always a good idea to ask the parents' permission before you take the pictures. All right, any questions? Negative. There we go. Next slide. There you go, Beth.
Okay. So this is where you can see, you know, where you usually write on your it sounds like all of you have Facebook pages. None of you have Twitter, or you don't use Twitter if you do have it. So, you know, where it says, what's happening? What's on your mind? Because they really are very interested. You just click like you do on Facebook and you start writing. And you can, as we said, you include your hashtag here. You include your tags here, like @MothersOutFront, which again notifies the page that somebody has tagged them. It sometimes notifies the followers of that page that they've been tagged. If your friend tags you, then your friends' friends on Facebook and your friends all see that, and depending on how you've got your settings. So it also grows that that reach we were talking about before. And again, as Mish said before, Twitter has a 140-character limit, so you'll know it'll show up red if you start posting too much, and then you're going to go back and kind of adjust it or whatever.
Would it be helpful for a little demoing? Would people like to see a tweet being created?
Yes.
Sure. Yes.
Great. Okay, Beth, I need some inspiration.
Okay. Oh, there's a marching shoes thing going on right now.
Oh yeah, we got some Pruitt situation going on here.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. If you go to if you find Memish, I did a post of marching shoes. If you want to like repost it and say something, a tweet.
So I need to find. Sorry, go ahead.
Where do we find this?
No problem. Let me explain where I just did. So I'm showing my screen right now on my desktop, and I'm on the Mothers Out Front Twitter page. And let me see here if I can give a better example of what it might look like. Sorry, I was on a different screen. I was on the mention screen. Here we go. There we go. So this is the Mothers Out Front homepage. Gives you the number of tweets, followers, etc. And this is my feed. So this is people I'm following that are filling my feed. I'm going to go click on the tweets. These are my tweets. So I recently retweeted something from Nathan Phillips, but our hero in Cambridge, Audrey Tillman, talking about gas leaks. So Beth just suggested I go look for her. So what I'm doing is I'm going up to the very top, and there's a window that says Search Twitter. I'm going to start typing Beth's name. And because she and I are following each other, it's likely she will come right up. So I'm going to click on her, and it'll bring me to her page. And there she is.
If you scroll to yesterday, you'll see my shoes picture. Yeah, quickly scroll past some of the things.
Okay. Shoes. Where are the shoes? Shoes? Where are the shoes? I can't find the shoes.
They're coming. Don't worry. I tweet a lot.
Oh, that's good. Wow, I see shoes. There we go. That's great.
Oh.
So Beth created this tweet, and if I were searching on the hashtag marching shoes, it might come up. Generally, when you do a search on a hashtag, just so you know, the most popular things will show up on top, and then encourage you to continue tweeting. And so here's a little lesson on liking and retweeting. So I love her post, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the little heart. And then I'm going to go over here, and everything you hover over, it tells you what it is. So hover around, get comfortable with things. This is a retweet. I'm going to click on that. And it gives me an opportunity to add a comment. Beth, and I'm going to tag Beth in the comment, even though she will be notified that I'm retweeting her. This also gives her a tag on her name. Beth Radio is an awesome marcher and an awesome mother out front. Mother marching for climate, right? Mother marching. I'm going to change it a little bit because it's one person. You have liberties, and we're just experimenting here. What else? Oh, and another tip I wanted to let you know. Now, you might want to start tagging your elected officials. You want them to know you're in the march. You want them to know what you care about. So if, for example, I wanted to send a message to Senator Warren, what I would want to do is look in advance to what her Twitter accounts are. So I might do a search on Senator Warren. And the ones that are the most popular are the ones that are sort of legitimate or confirmed. You have a blue check mark next to them. So, for example, I know that her handle on Twitter is Sen Warren. So I'm going to start typing that, and you'll see it come up. And see, here's that blue check I was talking about, @Sen Warren. So I would just click on it. And now she's going to be tagged if I post this tweet as is. But because I'm not really directing this at her, I'm probably not going to do that. I'm just going to erase that. And then I'm going to tweet. Okay.
So can I just ask you, because I can't, I'm not on the WebEx, I'm just on the phone. Can you just read me exactly what your tweet said, including the hashtag and the @ handle?
Exactly. So I'm going to go back to my home page so I can see this. My tweet, so I can read it to Hillary. So I went to Beth Rodeo's page, Oh, where is it? Uh-oh, where is it? Refresh, hang on. And I retweeted, or did I? Oh, son of a gun.
Try tweets and replies.
Oh,
Sometimes
right,
they go there, and I'm not always sure why.
Sorry, guys, I've got my 4 hours sleep. There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
The tweet says, at Beth Rose, an awesome marcher and an awesome mother marching for climate. And so the hashtag that I used here was an improvisation, hashtag mother marching, the number 4 climate.
And
Okay.
that is at the end, the hashtag's at the end?
It can be part of a sentence, or it can just be put on the end. Anywhere it is will help someone to find it, and that's your main purpose.
Okay.
I get creative because of the lack of characters. I will use them in the sentence so that I'm accomplishing 2 things at the same time.
Okay, got it.
So, yeah, if I were composing a tweet, and I'm on my Twitter homepage, up in the right-hand corner you see the fancy feather pen. And when you hover over it, it says tweet. So you click on that, and it opens a box. And now we can start typing. So I'm just going to improvise something here. I'm going to start with the hashtag for Mothers Out Front. Mothers March for Climate. Because we are concerned. We want a livable climate for our children and a healthy environment today. Yeah. You know, when you're doing a lot of things, you like to put hashtags on things. This is one doesn't really have much, but I might want to say something about renewable energy. Renewable energy.
You left out the word planet.
Oh, yeah.
Livable.
Oh, you're right. I'm going to go for climate rather than planet. Here we go, because we want a livable climate. So I could hashtag that just for kicks. But you don't have to worry about this when you're doing your stuff on Saturday. Keep it simple. I do this for a living, so I try to incorporate hashtags in everything I do, but you don't have to be as crazy as me. Renewable energy is the answer, something like that. Okay? So you saw when I was creating hashtags, they turn blue. You saw when I put a space in it, they break. Right? This one, so now it's just renewable, right? So I'm going to backspace, and now renewable energy is the hashtag. And, you know, you can use it in a sentence or not. And so I'm just going to tweet. Oh, I should add Women's March. So let's just get rid of this last part. And again, so if I do the apostrophe, it breaks. So I'll just do this part. And tweet. And ideally, I will see that tweet right away. And there it is. Okay, and now, so you want to find out what's going on. Mothers March for Climate. And you see, because I've been using the hashtag, when I start to search, it pops right up. So if I click on this, this is the joy of hashtags. So now we're going to see the hashtags that have come up so far. Oh, come on. There's been more than one. I've used it several times. Why would it be doing that, Beth?
What is, sorry, I was going to respond to your, hang on.
Yeah, you know what? It's only because I had the top, I think, selected.
Latest.
Latest. No, that's interesting.
People.
We're confused. This is not normal behavior.
Click on the Women's March one instead, because we haven't really pushed that out yet very much.
Yes, true. There we go. So now we're on Women's March. And, oh, yeah, a lot of people have been using this. And you scroll down, and you start to see all the tweets. Excuse me. And if you like any of them, please go ahead and retweet. So, yeah, click heart. Let's see. Oh, there we go. That's a good one. I'll just go ahead and retweet. Okay, and I could add a comment, or I can just retweet. Okay. Women's for Climate Justice is another one. But I would keep it simple. You know, here's a picture, an article, and Women's March. So keep it simple. You know, don't stress. Keep it fun. straightforward. Are there any questions about how to do tweeting?
None for right now.
No, good for now.
No problem. All right, let me get back to the presentation. And next slide.
Yeah.
There we go. Beth.
I think you missed the slide, Mish.
I did. How rude.
Oh, no, maybe, no, you're right. No, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm crazy. Okay, okay, so slide 11.
Yeah. Trying. There you go.
Okay. So you can see this is me composing those posts/tweets at the time. On the Facebook, this just looks like what you would do when you were doing a regular post. In this case, the hashtag I use, you can see how it's highlighted blue in Facebook. That means it's not broken, like we were showing you on Twitter when it was blue. Then the same thing will happen with the tags. You can see here it says at Women's March, at Boss Women's March, at Mothers Out Front. That I don't know about the tags for those other two, but that Mothers Out Front one, if I had kept going, it would have tagged the Mothers Out Front page. Mostly I was using this for a sample here, so it didn't happen. On Facebook, you can add the photo there. That's where it comes up on the computer. You can press publish to post. You can change your privacy setting on Facebook. I would say that the day of the march, if you're posting to Facebook, it makes the most sense to have it public so it can be part of that big conversation. But again, you know, if you're posting pictures of your kids or your grandkids or something, that's up to you how public you want that to be. On Twitter, you add there's a little picture of a camera where you add the image, and the publish is the tweet button. Twitter, if you want your tweets to be public, it's an overall setting. You can't pick it on a post-by-post basis the way you can on Facebook. Any questions about attaching images or?
What did you just say? You couldn't post the last thing. You can't do something.
So on Facebook, you can on a post-by-post basis, as you're typing a post and before you post it, you can choose what the privacy setting is. If you look at the bottom of where I have this change privacy settings on the Facebook screenshot, I have a special category I call friendlies, which is like my friends, but not like the high school guy that I sat next to that I didn't really like, you know, but he friended me on Facebook. And that's literally somebody who I'm friends with on Facebook. So, sometimes
you said you couldn't do something on Twitter.
Right. I'm getting back there. I just want to fully explain.
Okay.
On Facebook, I can click on that drop-down box and change that to public.
Yes.
For each post. Each time I'm posting, I could have one post, and it's friends, and the next post, I click on that drop-down and I make it public, and then I can do it. On Twitter, you have to go into your settings, so into your account, and there's an overall setting so that every tweet is either public or private. And if you want to change it, it changes it for every tweet. That is, it's like a global setting versus a post-by-post setting.
Okay.
Okay,
now,
got it.
after the march, if you want to keep Twitter, you can change everything to private, and then all your stuff is private, and that's fine because the conversation, you've served your purpose. You've been a voice the day of the march. Any other questions about this part of the posting?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Oops, sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm missing my cues. I can take this one. So the other way, though, either you can go to the app, to the Twitter, to the Facebook app, compose a post, and attach a picture. Or you can start from your picture. And I tell you, when I'm doing social media for an event, I find this really handy because I might want to look at a picture and make sure everybody's in focus or something first. So generally, with I have a Samsung Galaxy, not a 4 Note or a 7 Note, whatever it was. And so I take a picture and I'm looking at it and I tap it and I get icons. And just this little icon, the sideways V, is very common on most devices. And if you click on that and you have the Twitter and the Facebook app loaded on your phone, they will come up as an option for you to share too. And when you click on that, on the share, and you click Facebook or Twitter, then a post comes up, a blank post. And now you can generate, and the picture is attached, and you can add your text. And again, if your hashtags are stored in your phone because you've already used them once, very easy to create a post very quickly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great.
Yep. Yep.
And there was a link here. Feel free to use it if you have an iPhone. Very, very detailed screenshots of how to do this on your iPhone. Okay, next slide.
Okay, so this is where the hashtag payoff is. You can search, especially if you're participating remotely or later if you want, you can search for these hashtags that people were using, and you can see the posts that people use those hashtags for. You can see, if you look, this is a screenshot of Twitter with the picture with the woman who has the shirt that says a woman's place is in the House and the Senate. You can see, you can go by top, which is the ones that got the most action, the most likes, the most retweets. You can go by latest, which is like a real-time kind of thing. It pops up, you know, as people are posting. News, like news organizations that use the hashtags. Obviously, photos are self-explanatory, videos. And if you look at the top on the left, that's what it comes up like in Twitter. This little drop-down box is generated by Twitter because that's a popular enough hashtag. If you just went up and made your hashtag like Beth Rodeo is awesome, which is fine if you want to do that, it wouldn't nothing would pop up. You would be creating a hashtag. Nobody's using it, so nothing would pop up. But when you use a popular hashtag, this generates, and you can click on that, and you're searching that hashtag. If you look at the Facebook one on the bottom left, you can see that Why I March was up. Again, this was like 2 Thursdays ago, okay? So we're talking like more than 2 weeks before the march, and already it had 90,000 people using that hashtag and searching it for whatever their purpose is, inspiration, news, they're sharing it with their audience. They want to join in the conversation. So I'm sure if you typed in that now, you'd get way more than 90,000 people using that hashtag.
Yeah, and I got to tell you folks, this event is an amazing opportunity for whatever organization you're attached with. Think about who you'll be marching with. You will be surrounded by women who care about all the same things you do for the most part, right? So the audience and the opportunity to connect and forge those relationships that can help us really make change together is ripe for the taking.
Questions about searching for the hashtags?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Next
Not right
slide.
now.
And we'll be here. You can ask the questions as you start experimenting. So
You're going to have a practice session to do tomorrow for us. We're going to give you a tiny little time. Go ahead.
okay, so reposting, also known as sharing or retweeting. On Facebook, it's the share button. So I did those hashtag searches, and I found a good screenshot of Linda, I don't know how to say her last name, Sarsour. She's one of the organizers of the big march, as I'm sure you know. And so she's using this hashtag. She probably helped create it. She's probably using it to help spread it. She's got a lot of followers. And you can share that to your page. Then on Twitter, this is just one I found randomly, and she's following the Boston Women's March. You can see she tagged her friends at the end here. I don't know who these other people are. And you can retweet it. And again, just like Mish showed you, you can add your own text, or you can just repost it as is because you agree with it, you want your friends to see it, you want to give it that audience, that kind of thing. And again, this is if you're not marching and you're participating on your couch because you couldn't make it, or if you're doing it later because you're searching the hashtag because you were excited to be there and you're kind of still feeling the buzz and you want to follow through on it.
All right, can I ask a question?
Yep.
All right, so back to the Facebook share.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I see that, I share.
Mm-hmm.
Then does that go on my wall so that if somebody looks at my Facebook page, they see that?
Yes. Yes.
Now, does it also go out to all my friends? Like, is it just sitting there, or do people get the thing on their, to their email or to their Facebook?
Well, that depends on their notification settings, but do you know when you go on Facebook, right, you've got your page and you've got like a timeline of things, and it might be news organizations you follow, it might be Mothers Up Front or friends, right, and it's like, so-and-so's birthday party was great, and then it's like, you know, climate change is real, says Bernie Sanders, and then, you know, it's like all these different things. Your share is going to show up on your friends' timelines the same way that those show up on yours.
Okay, so when I share, it pops into all my friends' timelines and they see that I shared that?
That answer is slightly more complicated than just yes, but basically yes.
If that matches my settings or whatever.
If it matches your settings, and because the Facebook algorithm, I don't want to get too into it, but basically Facebook is set up to show people the things that make Facebook the most likable for people, right? So your friends who have liked your posts, who have shared your posts, who have commented on your posts are more likely to see that than somebody who you don't have a lot of communication with on Facebook. So the short answer is yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just sampling around on Facebook while you were talking, trying to show what you were talking about. Here we go, back to the slide presentation.
Okay, any other questions about sharing?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
All right, notifications. Now, if you have shared or posted or tweeted something and somebody has responded or shared it themselves or liked it or thumbs up or whatever it is or heart, this is where you'll know. These little notifications will pop up and you can click on them and see who said what or did what with your posts. This is kind of the fun part, mostly. I think the day of the march is going to be a lot of this. I think you're going to get a lot of energy from people in this virtual kind of way, and there's going to be, you know, conversations going on.
Yes, and somebody who likes to tweet quite a bit will be watching what's going on and wondering what all these women are talking about, and we want him to hear us. Does that make sense on the notifications?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, you just click on them. They're at the top of the menu, both Facebook and Twitter. And you get a list of everything that's been aimed at you.
Okay,
I have a basic question. Regarding Facebook, this is Alice. I know, you know, that I have Facebook on my computer, and it's facebook.com, I think. Now, how do I get to Twitter? Is it twitter.com?
Exactly.
Okay.
One of the documents that I sent earlier this morning is a how to sign up for Facebook and Twitter, and there's some screenshots there that are really helpful, but it's very easy.
Okay.
Just fill in some information, your name, and then boom, you pick a handle for yourself. You may, if you have a very common name, somebody may have taken the one that you first picked, so you have to come up with a way to adjust it a little bit, add a number or a letter or something like that. But it's very easy to do, and it's a very similar process with Facebook.
All right, can I ask another really basic question?
Yeah.
About choosing a name?
Uh-huh.
Like, do you kind of want to be anonymous, or do I want to be at Hillary Graham, or do I want to be at, you know, climate, you know, mom,
climate
or
warrior, lady, climate maven. Yeah.
Like, how do you think about choosing that name?
That's a good question. Beth, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I think that there are some people who feel very strongly about privacy, and so they don't use their real name. And so if you are leaning towards that, I'd say for your own comfort, go ahead. You don't. It's not going to affect anything if you want to be HG2179 or whatever. But. Or, you know, I would say that I have to be honest, personally, when I see somebody with a name like, you know, like,
Go Girl 22.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yes, exactly. I'm always like, yeah, okay, I'm taking you less seriously. So, like, think of it a little bit like your email. You know, your Gmail is probably your name at gmail.com or something like that. But you don't have to be that specific. Just, you know, if you get too clever, it's really hard to take people seriously if their handle is like, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything, but I've seen
people
some.
to find you too if it's
Right.
But then again, you can search on the name associated with the handle, right?
Yes, so you have a name and you have a handle, and those can both be anonymous, they can both be your real name, they can be some combination of the two. However, having said that, again, I think you should do whatever your comfort level is for privacy. It almost doesn't matter. So here's an example. A woman who I know, because she lives down the street from me and our sons go to school together, her husband's on Twitter all the time, and ever since the election, he's all fired up. And she's like, I'm going to have him talk to you because I can't talk to him anymore. I said, I'm fired up, fine. So she told me he's on Twitter all the time. And I was like, all right, tell him to friend me. So we looked for his name, and his name is very common, and there was like 8,000 of this guy. So I said, just, here's my handle. Tell him to follow me instead, and I'll follow him back. So really, to some extent, even your name is somewhat anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's hard to tell where people are. On Facebook, you get some location information sometimes. On Twitter, you really don't.
Yeah.
Okay, if I signed up under a certain name, can I change it?
Yep. You can change your name and your handle as long as, you know, something's not taken. You can change your handle again.
Okay. And that's just in the settings.
Yeah, it's pretty. If you go into the settings, it's pretty obvious. Or at some point, I can walk you through it. I think this is a fairly new feature. I had to Google it. A client asked me, and I was like, I don't know. So I looked, and yeah, I had to Google like how to change your, you know, to see if you could do it, and certainly I could change their name. So yeah, the account settings are in all the same place. Yeah. So it's like if you want to be public for the march and you want to be like, you know, like I said, like HG2179, and then you decide after the march to make it private so you can communicate with your friends, you could change your name to your name.
Okay.
I was looking to see if they had help somewhere up at the top. I'm sure they do. But the other thing is, if you're curious about how to do something, it's amazing how much information there is on Google. Like if you search, how should I pick my Twitter name? I guarantee you will find 15 people that have great opinions on this and good advice and probably screenshots to help you out. It's astounding how much time people spend on social media.
Okay, all right, good to know.
I have found so many little tips, tricks, unbelievable amounts of information just Googling. It's an amazing resource.
All right, good.
Okay. How's everybody feeling? Good?
Good.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Fine. Yeah.
All right. Now, I'm going to ask you all for a favor. All right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, or later tonight, I'm going to send you a little email with an attachment. It's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that says, I'm marching with Mothers Out Front, and it has hashtags, and it says, because. Now, you can use that sign, or if you want to support another organization, you can make another sign that you're marching with League of Women Voters, etc. I want you to take a picture of it, do a selfie, have someone hold it, take a picture of you, and then I'd like you to post it on Twitter with the Mothers March for Climate hashtag, and also tag Mothers Out Front. So that's your assignment, to take the picture, to post it on Twitter, to say something, anything your heart desires, or just the hashtag Mothers March for Climate and tag Mothers Out Front.
Okay.
And I'm going to be looking for you all to do that tomorrow.
Okay. This is Judy. Can I just say something? I was a little confused about what the webinar was going to be about tonight. I thought it was going to be just kind of basic training for how to use Twitter and Facebook.
Sure.
And I'm definitely not going to use either of them during the march.
Okay.
So I'm sorry to say this, and I'm sorry I got confused about why the webinar was happening. This has been really useful. I'm going to look at the things that you've sent, and I'm going to learn more about it, but I'm not going to do it for the march. That isn't what I want to do.
How about if you tweet anything you want tomorrow and just tag Mothers Out Front?
I can't even tell you I'm going to do that. I'm not ready yet to use Twitter at all, and I want to learn more about it, and I'm going to use it after the March, but I'm not going to do your homework. I'm sorry. But thank you.
On the deadline. So your homework is, you get an extension on the deadline. Your homework is until next week.
Thank you.
Judy, I think the communications team is looking to have more of that kind of general training, not in what am I looking for, event specific. So please keep an eye out. We haven't developed it yet, but it's something we've been talking about. So I'm glad to know that that will be helpful to people.
And
it will for me. And I really appreciate tonight. It was great. I did learn a lot.
Excellent. Yeah, and one of the most important things I'd like to point out is, you know, you sit here, you learn a few things, like, oh, I'm excited to use them. A few days pass by, you don't really get to it. The ideal thing is to make it a little bit of a habit. 5-10 minutes a day, every other day, something like that. And it's a great avenue to get people interested in the causes that you care about and to reach out to people. So I think it's a lot of fun, but ideally you start making it a little bit of a habit. You don't have to be addicted to it. You don't have to do it 12 hours a day. 5-10 minutes here and there, and then it becomes very easy to do, and you do it with more fun, and you enjoy it.
Okay, I'll give that a try.
I will look forward to it.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
And everybody, please follow Mothers Out Front that is interested. Judy is accepted for now. And I will look forward to following you guys. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email either Beth or myself, and we will give you a hand before the event. And I will be looking for Alice's and for Hillary's tweets tomorrow. And we're going to have fun.
In your email, you better tell us. In your email, you better tell us exactly what it is you want us to include in our picture.
Yes, absolutely. I will reiterate all that information, and you're also allowed to be creative too, but you have to tag me so I can find you.
Yeah. Okay, so wait, I have one more just totally basic question. All right, I have my Twitter account up, and how do I find? Wait, search Twitter. Okay, you told me this. So search Twitter, and then I can just search Mothers Out Front?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Follow us, too.
And then when I find it, then the follow button is?
Usually on the right-hand side.
Okay, yeah. and it will say follow?
Yes. And when you click on it, then it turns to following.
Okay, I'm going to do it.
And if you click on it again, then you unfollow. It's like a toggle, basically.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Fantastic. Now, don't consider this a chore. This is fun. Explore, learn. You'll find all kinds of interesting stuff, including great news articles and things that people are up to. It's a great resource. Awesome. Enjoy. We look forward to hearing from you. This recording will be available shortly after the meeting. Feel free to listen to it again for little tips and tricks, or just reach out to Beth and I.
All right. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you guys. You may not hear you on Saturday, maybe.
Yeah.
You may not hear from me tomorrow because I have a busy day, and it'll take me a little